and welcome to SailGP today. We are here at the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix in Portsmouth in front of the Smarkets activation, as you can see behind us here, where prediction meets performance. And I'm with Lisa Darmanin, and we're going to reflect on what a weekend that's been, Lisa.
Yeah, it was incredible. I think what this weekend showed was just how much the fleet has elevated. I think, there used to be overtaking lanes. Now everybody is pushing so hard. If you make a mistake, you're punished. And I also think with the group format as well, there's a bit more space around the racetrack, so it's almost leveled the playing field.
It felt like a lot of things met this weekend. We had incredible conditions with great sunshine but loads of wind. We had some pretty crazy obstacles out on the water. We had split fleet racing and loads of different winners of races out there. What do you think this compares to other events we've had this year? Do you think it's up there?
Yeah, it's certainly up there. I think ahead of the weekend, I thought that this was going to be one of the best weekends of SailGP, bar probably our season opener in Perth was pretty incredible. But,
biased.
Yeah, I'm definitely biased, but that was just high adrenaline. It was the start of the season, whereas here we just got to see really raw racing, which I really enjoyed. And I think it's hard to compare because it's such a unique sort of format with the group format. Halifax was obviously light wind, different style, whereas on Saturday we had 6 races in an hour and a half. So the broadcast team was pumping hard to get that done, and I think it was great for the fans as well to be able to see so much racing.
Obviously, we've got to shout out Los Gallos, who have won back-to-back events. It seems like the split fleet format really suits them. Based on this weekend and what's to come going forwards, how do you think it's looking for teams like Emirates GBR? Because that was a tough weekend for them, right? Yeah,
it was a tough weekend for them, but on Los Gallos, I don't think it has anything to do with the groups. I think that they've done well all season. They made every final bar Perth, which they couldn't compete in, and then New York, they had technical issues. So honestly, for me, I think they're sailing incredible no matter the format. Today, they were 4th off the start line, came back and won the final. So to be able to do that at such a high level, I mean, huge shout out to them. In terms of Emirates Great Britain and the Bonds Flying Roos, I think there was a disappointment for both those teams. They weren't sailing as well as we've seen them in the past. They were making mistakes around the racetrack, not locked in, not getting good starts. Whereas I think maybe in a 13-boat fleet, they might be able to get off the start line a little better than maybe 5 or 6 of those teams and kind of then weave their way through. So I think the group format is actually hurting them more.
So we were actually joined by Neil Hunter, one of the grinders of Emirates Great Britain earlier, and here's what he had to say about the disappointing performance. Okay, so we're joined by Emirates GBR grinder Neil Hunter. Neil, welcome. Obviously a bit of a disappointing weekend for you. Could you just sum it up for us? What went wrong out there?
Yeah, I mean, it was a brutal weekend. I think it just shows the level SailGP is at now. SailGP is at such a high level, you make tiny mistakes and you're just absolutely punished for it. So that's kind of what happened to us today, and yeah, we've certainly got to go and look at a few things.
What was it like on the boat? Obviously, it's full high pace, high adrenaline. You at the front as a grinder as well. How hard are you working?
Yeah, I mean, a day like today, it's definitely all on. Boat's doing 95k an hour, coming together, and certainly in the front of the boat we were working incredibly hard. I think both myself and Nick were probably operating at 95% of max heart rate, so really up there. But yeah, just epic racing here in the Solent.
Obviously it's home event, and I'm looking behind you at a huge grandstand. What was the crowd like when you were coming past?
Yeah, I mean, the grandstand and the crowd here, seriously impressive. Like, amazing home support. We couldn't have asked for better home support here in Portsmouth, and yeah, hopefully we can come back here next year and, yeah, do them a bit prouder.
Well, overall season, you guys are still looking pretty good. You always have to think big picture, and I know you guys put a lot of pressure on yourselves to always sort of be in that final. But I guess, how's your season gone so far, and how are you going to swing the momentum to have the ending that you did last season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a mixed season so far for us, obviously. Like, winning the first event in Perth was great, and, yeah, followed it up with a few podiums after that. But we've certainly had our ups and downs. I think everybody in SailGP has their ups and downs, and it's just how you ride them out. And we've got a massive team behind the scenes looking into all the data and figuring out how we're going to make gains from here. And I think that's the most important thing. And this time last year, we weren't in amazing shape either. And we're pretty confident that we've got the right people behind us that can get us to that final and win in Abu Dhabi.
Obviously, we've seen an adjustment with the split fleets. How's that been for you guys, just making an adjustment mid-season to kind of a different format, so to speak?
Yeah, it does make a massive difference. I think it changes the starting massively. You can be a lot more aggressive. It kind of takes the starting more towards what we've seen previously in finals, and you can be very aggressive and come back with very little time to kill. So it certainly changed the starting strategies, and we've seen that play out here in Portsmouth. I mean, yesterday we had a tough day of it on the start line, and today we kind of it was something we did incredibly well today.
The other thing with group racing, though, is you've got 10, 15 minutes in between your previous race to talk to the coaches booth, dive in the data, see what the other teams are doing. What's that sort of process like now? Because that's something new.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely nice to have that time. Previously, it's very rushed. We'd only have a couple of minutes before we were getting into the next start sequence, and we've got a great squad in the coaches booth, and they can really run through the data. Nick Robbins, Ben Cornish, and our coach Robbie Wilson. So we've got an epic squad in there, and they really dive into the boats data, not just the boats that we're racing against, but the boats that are racing at the time that we're watching. So it's great to see what they do, and then kind of try and make a change for the next race.
Okay, well, it's been a very long day for you, a long weekend for you guys at Emirates GBR. We're going to let you go and say thank you very much for your time. We'll see you in Sassnitz.
Nice one. See you in Sassnitz.
Cheers, Neil. Thank you. Okay, Elise, well, it wouldn't be a SailGP today post-racing if we weren't going to do our overreaction, underreactions. We've now got a bit of a tiered approach. We go overreaction, slightly overreaction, neutral, underreaction, and slightly underreaction, okay?
So many choices.
Yeah, there's a lot of choices here, but you're going to hit me with your first one. Go.
My first overreaction is Group B was actually harder than Group A.
Oh, so the group of death wasn't actually the group of death. What makes you say that?
Well, I think Group A, people were making more mistakes. So I think the maneuvers weren't as slick, whereas Group B, everyone was super close. There was more overtakes happening. Everyone was getting off the start line really well, whereas in Group A, there was sloppiness. Everyone was sort of, one of them would just be out the back. And so I think, Group B was a little bit hard done by on the social media train. But I think, everyone's so good that it's, hard to compare. But I think with Group B, people are riding teams off like the USA, which actually have done so well this season. You've got Explorer Swiss that kind of been the underdogs, and now they're coming really good and sailing well. Artemis as well. People think they're a new team, but they are actually just incredible sailors that are definitely not amateurs. So I think, it was a tough group. Both of them were tough, but it's hard having top two advance because it's not that many being able to get out of your group.
Yeah, and I'm neutral on that. I kind of agree. I think it's been really interesting to see how the group dynamic has kind of changed. Well, like we used to see in a lot of events, one team would dominate. They'd have a really good weekend. The momentum would be in their favor. But now we're seeing loads of different teams win. I mean, Germany, Switzerland. It's been really exciting this weekend. And as a fan and a genuine fan of the sport, every time I look out, someone else is in the lead. And it's really cool.
What's your overreaction?
Okay, my overreaction or underreaction.
Statement.
My statement is going to be that I think Portsmouth, and I've been twice now, is the best event on the calendar. And you're going to disagree with that.
Bold call. It's pretty incredible, and it definitely turned it on this weekend. But I like the racing here. I think it's incredible. The grandstand is, I think, the biggest one that we have. So I'll give you that. But I'm going to say slight overreaction there, Alex.
Okay, what does it happen to be your favourite is a Australian?
I would say Bermuda for sailing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bermuda for sailing. I mean, Perth obviously was incredible, but we haven't had enough under our belt in Perth to really prove it. But there's so many good events out there. Everywhere we go has such a unique aspect. I think here, obviously, the wind turned it on, and we know when it's windy, we always love it, and our mind gets skewed. But I think, for me, Bermuda's just super special, amazing place to sail, but it doesn't have the crowd that Portsmouth does.
No, of course. And feeding into this is actually the crowd behind you, because there's a full grandstand and Craig David singing 7 Days behind you, which is what an incredible moment. As the sun's setting, you couldn't get any better than this. And what's your next statement?
My next statement is that Artemis is definitely going to make it to the grand final.
Oh, okay. Just consistency? How do you...
I think they took a while to warm up. They were making mistakes. Even today, whilst they were leading, they made a few mistakes around the racetrack. But I think, the team that they have is incredible. Whenever you bring a new team together, it takes a while. But now, I know how good Nathan is in the shifty, challenging conditions. Might fit into what we talk about a little bit later. But knowing the venues that we have to come and the team that he's got with him, I think, they made a couple of finals. They haven't got the win yet, but I think, he's as hungry as he ever is, and they're looking dangerous.
Whether that is an overreaction for me or not depends on who's dropping out of that grand final spot for them. So, in my head at the moment, it's potentially Bond's Flying Rouge, Los Gaios, and Emirates Great Britain. Are you going to take GBR out of there? And if so,
well, if they don't sail better than they have been the last two events, they're in trouble.
That's
Gotta
an
say,
overreaction.
high pressure. That's my other overreaction. There you go.
Right, I'm going to think of another statement that's going to come into my head right now. Boom. I think that, yeah, Spain, and this is just a statement, are going to win the grand final.
It's pretty hard to call. It's one race
I know,
at the end of
but
the season. We don't know what's going to happen yet. So I'm going to say call that an overreaction. But if they keep sailing the way that they do, they are looking dangerous. I know the Bonds Flying Roos were looking at them in Halifax saying, oh my goodness, this team is sailing really well. What I saw today out on the water, I called it before the grand final. They said, what do you think? I think Spain's going to take the win here.
Fair play.
And you know, they're sailing the shifts really well, so they're tactically making really good decisions, but their speed is incredible. No matter where they are on the racetrack, they really seem to focus on themselves and not kind of get caught up in what everybody else is doing. So, yeah, I would say slight overreaction, but if they keep sailing how they're going, they can definitely win another championship.
Well, one of the reasons I mentioned that overreaction/underreaction/statement, and it's quite a bold one, was when I look out and I see them on the water, it's more the consistency, the team morale, the vibe around the whole team. And also, a little data point from Smarkets, which I heard about earlier, was that over the course of the weekend, Los Gallos were a team that were 80% more likely to overtake boats during a race than other boats, right? So that means the starts are difficult for them.
Yeah,
and
but
if they
grand
tweak
final,
that,
one race, 3 boats. It's a very different style.
But they were fourth today and they ended up first because they overtook everyone.
Yeah, I'm still not
Stumped her.
agreeing with your point, but that's
Stumped
fine. We
her.
don't have to agree.
Before we have a mega fallout here at the Emirates Great Britain Sail Grand Prix in Portsmouth, me and Lee, a very jet-lagged Lisa Darmanin from America.
America,
That's even
Australia,
worse. That's
if you
going to
haven't
cause a bigger fallout from Australia all the way to here in the UK. We are going to sort of check out. We're going to wrap up. You can see the crowds leaving behind us here after Craig David has just finished, so I believe we should finish as well. From Lisa Darmanin and I, that has been SailGP today. We will see you in Sassnitz.